everybody, welcome back to Crick Chacker's special show in the air. Mera naam hai Nivedna Prabhu. It is game time. It is time for the second test match between India versus Sri Lanka. Kafi exciting hoga ye clash. Also to kind of see what kind of homework has Sri Lanka done, because of course India had a smooth win in that first test. So what are your predictions? What are you expecting from this match? What can we also expect according to our cricket guest? मैं आज आपको बताऊंगी only on In the Air. So if you want to ask any questions to our cricket guest, put that in the comment section. And without wasting any more time, let me bring on my first guest on the show, Pratyay Tipari, joining me. Pratyay, great to have you back. You of course did predict, or rather you did analyze what things Sri Lanka should be working on for the second test. But right off the bat is also going to be super interesting because it is a day and night test and it is in Bengaluru. So what do you have to say about the fact that they will be playing the second test, with the fact that there are certain changes also for Sri Lanka, which we will be delving into later. But what is your first take of the second test?
So I think no doubt that India will definitely be the favorites. The way they have started the series, very positive and very dominating victory. What you would want from Sri Lanka is to show a little bit more fight, because in the previous game, I mean, being tumbled out for sub 200 totals twice in a row and not even managing to get close to the tally of, as I said, that even Ravindra Jadeja managed to outscore the entire Sri Lankan team. So I think you do not want that kind of performance to be coming up, no matter how strong India aside is. You will definitely want them to feel a little bit challenged before they actually seal victories. So I think plenty of homework must have been done, and they would have known that they have to do something, because it's not easy after these kind of losses. It's not easy to bounce back, specifically considering the fact that you're playing against a side which is as formidable as India is. So I think that, of course, there would have been a lot of pondering that the Sri Lankan team and the think tank would have done. And let's see how this one goes, because I think, yes, injury concerns are there as well. They are not in the best of shapes anyways, and then to run into such a spirited India side, it's definitely not going to be easy. But I don't think that this pink ball game, there can be a few unpredictable things happening as well. So you would not want to write off Sri Lanka just yet. But yes, plenty of work for them to be done for sure.
Okay, so that is of course the first point of view that Pratyay has. We will analyze further aspects of the game. But hi to everyone who's joined us. आपके क्या predictions है आज के मैच में? अगर आप predicted 11 देना चाहते हो मुझे for Team India या श्रीलंका, मुझे बताइए in the comment section. I see a lot of you already anticipating कि कौन century मारेगा, कौन half century मारेगा. Do you think we would see yet another magic show by Ravindra Jadeja? वो भी मुझे बताइए in the comment section. We'll also take a look at the head-to-head between both these teams as well as the last 5 games, and I will get on my next guest, Chirag, joining me in the studio. Chirag, welcome back. यहाँ अगर देखा जाए in the test that they've played so far, India clearly has the upper hand, having won 21 out of 45. And if we could take a look at the last 5 game stats at Bengaluru, of course, where India have won 4, tied 1, and India has lost on 0 occasions. Okay, Chirag, welcome back. Right. First of all, to India. मुझे सबसे पहले बताइए ये stats देखते हुए, and of course it being a pink ball test, what are your thoughts going into this competition?
राइट अभी इंडिया का बेंगलुरु में रिकॉर्ड तो काफी अच्छा है, लेकिन अभी आप देखो कि श्रीलंका ने एक भी टेस्ट मैच नहीं जीता इंडिया में. मतलब ये नहीं कि अभी जो टीम नहीं है वो नहीं जीत पाए. पहले आप देखो सनत जसूरिया, संगाकारा, जयवर्धने, मुथैया मुरलीधरन, जब वो भी टीम में होते थे तब भी वो इंडिया में नहीं जीत पाए. तो एक बहुत बड़ी बात है. आई मीन आज तो डेफिनेटली, लेकिन आज इंडिया के लिए एक बहुत अच्छी बात है कि अक्षर पटेल कम बैक कर सकते हैं आज के मैच में. और जो लास्ट पिंक बॉल टेस्ट मैच खेला था उसमें अक्षर पटेल प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच थे, तो उनका टीम में आना एक बहुत बड़ी बात है टीम इंडिया के लिए. अभी देखो अगर 3 क्वालिटी स्पिनर्स हो जाएंगे, रविंद्र जडेजा, अश्विन, फिर अक्षर पटेल, तो श्रीलंका के लिए बहुत मुश्किल होने वाला है. ऊपर से उनके की प्लेयर्स इंजर्ड हैं. पतुम निसंका सबसे बड़े, क्योंकि पिछले मैच में अच्छी इनिंग्स खेली थी फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में, तो वो टीम में नहीं है. और सुरंगा लकमाल का तो आज लास्ट मैच है, तो एक कहीं ना कहीं फाइट देखने को मिलेगी. श्रीलंका चाहेगा कि इस मैच को मेमोरेबल बनाए, तो हाँ एक फाइट एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मुश्किलें बहुत है. रास्ता मुश्किल है श्रीलंका के लिए, क्योंकि अभी तीनों डेडली स्पिनर्स हैं इंडिया में. तो लेट्स सी क्या होता है.
Okay, तो रास्ता मुश्किल है लेकिन नामुमकिन तो नहीं है, right? I mean, if you want to see a good competition, and I see a lot of predictions coming in here, so keep sending them in. We'll probably take one or two of them later on the show. लेकिन coming back to the competition, is match में we're going to see plenty of player battles, and that's quite interesting. So let's take a look at how many player battles we have and find out from both Pratyay and Chirag which one they're looking forward to. If you could take a look at the first player battle, this is Karuna Ratne versus Jadeja. 4 dismissals, having scored 66 runs against Jadeja. If you can take a look at the next player battle, Lakmal versus Kohli, जहाँ पे है 1 dismissal and 142 runs.
राइट पर ये वाला बैटल आई डोंट थिंक सो कि इतना इंटरेस्टिंग रहने वाला है क्योंकि सुरंगा लकमाल दो उनका स्पीड का मतलब इतना ज्यादा स्पीड भी नहीं है और इतना बॉल में इतना मूवमेंट दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है तो ये वाला बैटल मुझे नहीं लगता कि ज्यादा वो देखने लायक होने वाला है विराट कोहली वर्सेस सुरंगा लकमाल
हम कोई दूसरे प्लेयर बैटल देखते हैं because according to him this is not going to be something that we look forward to. If you could take a look at another interesting battle over there जहाँ पे Ashwin has got 7 dismissals against Matthews. Quite a we were looking at another one. Matthews versus Ashwin यहाँ पे 4 dismissals, having scored 194 runs. If you could take a look at the other one as well. Jadeja versus Matthews, 7 dismissals and having scored 109 runs. Okay, so these are of course all the player battles. Chirag has given me his verdict. I'll come to you, Pratyay. In terms of looking at how Jadeja has performed in the first test, are we looking at him scalping, yet another, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wickets?
See, absolutely. I mean, if you look at all the player battles, you will realize that it's spin dominating the batters in terms of the dismissals, and that is what you would also expect when you are playing in the subcontinent or in the Asian conditions that India and Sri Lanka will be playing in. But not to forget that this game, the dynamics will be slightly different because, of course, it's being played with the pink ball. It's a day-night test, so there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. But yes, even that we have seen. I mean, so far, whatever India has an unblemished record because both the tests that they have played in India, the pink ball affairs, they have managed to win them, and not just managed to win them, they have won both those games very convincingly because both have them. Neither of them has lasted more than 3 days. Whether you talk about the Kolkata Test of 2019, incidentally, also the same game when Virat Kohli scored his last century. So for all of those who are trying to search something that there is something in favor of Virat Kohli scoring a century, maybe that's a cue to take from. And even the second encounter in Ahmedabad against England, that also was a very short span game, just a little over a couple of days, and India managed to win. So I think that these dynamics have to be taken care of because, of course, when you talk about conventional test matches, the things, the timings, the ball, everything is way too different. When you talk about the pink ball, there are so many other things that, as even Jasprit Bumrah yesterday pointed out, that the team is focusing on those mental adjustments because, like you see, I mean, if you look at how the regular test matches would play, you would expect the ball to do a few things in the morning. Here in this pink ball test, the timings will make it change to evening because that is the time when we see the ball doing a little bit more than other occasions in the game. So I think these kind of dynamics will of course come into play, and that is what the beauty of this particular format is. I mean, it's an uncharted territory. Not too many games have been played already, so yes, there are certain things which are unpredictable, but I still feel going by whatever the build-up of this game has been and whatever we've heard about the track in the press conferences, I think it is going to be one of those that is definitely going to assist the spinners. So if you're talking about the player battles, I expect both Jadeja and Ashwin, of course, to get plenty of wickets on this track with the pink ball.
Right, and it's always interesting to see all these matches happening at Chinnaswamy Stadium. I'm not saying that because I'm from Bengaluru. It is, we also saw Virat Kohli tweet yesterday saying Bengaluru and he feels great to be back. But on the other hand, we're hoping that, of course, there will be some magic, not just from Kohli, but other approaching milestones as well in this particular match. We will be taking a look at that. But before that, let me give you the toss update. India have won the toss and opted to bat first. And of course, we don't expect anything less than the kind of total that they did put up in the first test. But considering it's a different, a different stadium that they're playing at and several other factors, we'll have to wait and watch what they'll be doing in the first innings. We'll talk about the toss as well as the playing 11 in a bit. But aap sabka kya kehna hai? What is your predicted playing 11? Like I asked you, tell me that in the comments, and we'll take a look at the approaching milestones and find out from Chirag which one he's most excited about. If you could take a look at Rohit Sharma's milestone as well. Okay, we'll first take a look at Pant and Ravindra Jadeja's. Pant requires 8 sixes to reach 50 sixes in the longest format of the game. Jadeja requires 9 wickets to complete 250 scalps and test matches. The next one being
राइट, मुझे लगता है जडेजा वाला हो जाएगा, वो डुएबल है.
okay. What about the Rohit Sharma one?
अब ये तो किस्मत की बात है ना, 3 कैचेस आएंगे नहीं आएंगे, ये टैलेंट पे नहीं आता है, किस्मत पे आ जाती है बात.
And he's one game away from completing 400 matches across formats. And
ये
the
तो हो
last,
गया ना.
the last one I think being Bumrah's milestone as well. If you could take a look. Okay, Bumrah requires
जसप्रीत
5.
बुमराह वाला हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा.
Okay, and Dhananjaya De Silva is 1-4 away from completing 300 fours in test matches. Okay, so these are of course the approaching milestones. So Chirag, what does your report card say? Which is doable, which is not?
अभी जसप्रीत बुमराह वाला हो जाएगा, रोहित शर्मा का तो हो गया. अब वो 3 कैचेस का पता नहीं, वो तो किस्मत की बात है, टैलेंट पे नहीं आता ना वो तो. अब 3 कैचेस अगर उनके पास आ गए तो वो हो जाएगा रिकॉर्ड, वरना वैसे तो मतलब क्या. और ऋषभ पंत का हो सकता है.
Okay, he just made like a rough prediction what will happen. All of you tell me which one are you most excited about as well. Of course, I'm pretty sure Ravindra Jadeja, if he can, weave magic once again, why not, right? Nothing's stopping him. But we'll also take a look at what's happening on Social Tracker and find out from, all the kind of content that's happening on social media and get reactions as well. If you could take a look as to what the tweets are. Pratay, of course, before I think we get to seeing some of the tweets over there, I'll come quickly to you. Any changes that you're expecting from either of the sides?
Well, I think Sri Lanka will definitely have to make one because of the injury to Lahiru Kumara. And I think because I think he would be missed, of course, because even in the previous game, they were a bowler short. And the way India was batting, they could not have afforded that. Also, I think in the previous game, it was a case when Sri Lanka sort of misread the conditions, because if you see just, going with 2 part-time spinners and only playing 1 frontline spinner. On the other hand, when you had 2 spinners, frontline spinners in the Indian ranks. So I think it was a little rather 3 spinners in the Indian ranks. So I think it was a case where they misread the track. They will be missing Lahiru Kumara because, of course, with the pink ball, the kind of things it offers for the new bowlers, and with the kind of pace that Lahiru Kumara has, he could have actually been a great addition in this particular test match, would have been a great prospect. But then you have to talk about the force changes. I think Dushmanta Chamira could be one of the players who could get a look in, because again, he's a little bit tall and he can extract a little bit of bounce, can hit the deck hard as well, can at times be a little skiddy as well. So I think he has enough repertoire. It's actually a little bit surprising that he is not into the scheme of things when you specifically talk about test cricket in the Sri Lankan test setup. But I think he could be one of the players. And of course, India, I think there could be chances. I mean, I would be a little surprised if India does not play Mohammad Siraj, because I personally would want him to be operating with the new ball.
Yeah, I mean, sorry
I think,
for you short there, Pratay. We'll just talk quickly about the changes. There is no Mohammad Siraj, but we will be seeing Akshar Patel come in. We did have Bumrah also talk about him, after that entire conversation about Kuldeep Yadav as well. So he was glad to have Akshar Patel's services. So he's in. When we're talking about the Sri Lankan side, it's Nisanka and Kumara who are not available. So Kusal Mendes and Praveen Jayavikrama have come in. So let's talk about sorry for cutting you short over there. But the fact that you said you would be surprised there's no Siraj. There is no Siraj. We see Ashwin, we see Akshar, we see Shami and Bumrah, and of course Jadeja as well. If you're talking about the bowling.
But then, yes, you would feel that maybe it's a call taken upon how the pitch will play, because they have of course had the look, and they would know better that if it is going to be a little more seam friendly or if it is going to be spinner. Because if Akshar Patel has come in, that does 2 things to you, because it adds a little bit of depth in your batting, of course, because Akshar Patel, we have seen, I mean, whatever little short career he has had, he has shown, I mean, time and again his ability with the bat. And of course, he's a very, very consistent. I mean, one place where I think that Akshar Patel is very similar to even Ravindra Jadeja is his ability to bowl on a plate. If you actually see where he keeps his lines and lengths, he's very accurate. He's very pinpoint. You can ask him, इसको हम थोड़ी देसी भाषा में बोलते हैं, टप्पे पे डालना, एक ही टप्पे पे डालते रहना. So he is someone who can do that. Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, these are those bowlers who can consistently pinpointly deliver at one place. And whenever you keep on doing that, whenever you do not allow the batters to get away, whenever you keep them, away from being able to rotate the strike, that is when the pressure starts to build up. And lest we forget, I mean, in his very short span of a career, Akshar Patel, I mean, he has made it look, I mean, taking test fifers, it's the easiest job for him in the world. He has had so many in a very short span. And Chirag was also talking about what he did in the previous game when India last played a pink ball test. I guess he had a 10 wicket haul in that match, 10 or 11 wicket haul in the match
Yeah.
against England. So I think it's a great addition. Jayant Yadav, I think, of course, if you talk about the previous game when we were discussing, there were actually no negatives for the Indian side. But if you pinpoint, if you segregate, and if you single out Jayant Yadav, probably you would see that he was kind of a weak link in the side. So maybe that could be a tactical change. For Sri Lanka, I think, yes, as I said, that a couple of changes, forced ones. Praveen Jayavikrama, he is a great addition, a good off spinner, and I think he has also had, he had a great debut, and in a short span, he has also been pretty impressive. And the other change, I guess, was who came in for Nisanka?
Kusal
Kusal
Mendes.
Mendes. Kusal Mendes. Yeah, he is fit again. So I think Pathum Nisanka, I think they will dearly miss him because he was one of the only positives that Sri Lanka had in a game that where nothing really went their way. He was the lone positive. So him going out would definitely be a bit of a setback. Dinesh Chandimal, I could have expected maybe he could have been given a look in, but now they probably do not have as much reliance placed upon him. So yes, Kusal Mendes is again a good choice, kind of a replacement for Nisanka. So yes, I would say a little watered down Sri Lanka after the exits of Nisanka and Kumara, but I will still say that yes, this team can put a little bit of challenge if they can at least show some intent as opposed to the previous game.
Okay, so the takeaway for everybody who's just joined us right now is the fact that India has won the toss and elected to bat first. A couple of changes for both the teams. Agar dekha jaye for India side, Jayant Yadav is not playing this game, and we have Akshar Patel coming in. Dusri taraf, there is no Nisanka and Kumara for this particular match for Sri Lanka, but Kusal Mendes and Praveen Jayavikrama will be playing today's match. So start giving me all your predictions in the comment section below. Now that we've taken a look at the playing 11, what do you think is going to be happening? Let me know all of that. But before we wrap up, one of the most interesting segments that all of us look forward to is what everybody is talking on Social Tracker. And I'll ask Chirag to let our audiences kind of see what is happening on Social Tracker.
Rahul Dravid giving slip catching practice to Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Well, उनके पास बहुत catches आने वाली हैं आज क्योंकि पता है हमारे तीनों spinners आज ready हैं. Winning right from first to the 400th international appearance. How old were you when Rohit made his international debut? Well, आज बहुत excited है सभी रोहित शर्मा के 400th मैच को लेकर. It's a pink ball time. India versus Sri Lanka, second test match in Bengaluru. हर जगह एक्साइटमेंट है इस मैच को लेकर. पिंक टेस्ट रेडी. और ये रविंद्र जडेजा, इन्हें कैसे भूल सकते हैं? आज के मैच में भी इनको लेकर काफी ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेशंस होंगी.
Right, and of course, Pratay also said we won't be surprised if Jadeja manages to get, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 wickets. But of course, coming back to the competition right now, Pratay has put it rightly. If they do show some intent, then it's not like Sri Lanka will not be able to probably clinch this one in their favor. But it all depends on what is going to be happening on day one of this exciting second test match. So we're going to keep you updated about everything. Don't forget to join us in the post-match analysis. We'll be back to talk about what transpired on day one. Until then, of course, thank you to Pratay and Chirag for joining me and all of you as well. We will see you very soon, only on Cricket Channel.